Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare
10 more minutes, she's going to sing, then we give class. 10 minutes.
जय जय श्री राज दमोदर की autumn. Hare Krishna. We are at the home of Amalpal. Thank you, and family. Right at the street corner, juncture of everything. Gas station across the street. We're working wrong. Okay. All the nice soft drinks are there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to ask just to say a few words. Till 6:30, is that right? Pardon?
You can go 6:30, 6:40.
Oh, we'll just play it by ear.
7 o'clock we can do.
Is everybody happy? Okay. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashakaya Chakshurunmyadharmina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. I was born in the darkest ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisance to him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I guess this is a little bit of a book launch on the book, The Saffron Path. We brought a few copies in case you didn't get one. Krishna let me be the author of this. And inserted in the book, we have a small version of Bhagavad Gita, Song of the Divine. This can be sung, narrated, and or danced to. If you start dancing to this, I don't mind. Okay. Arjuna and Krishna are speaking. We'll begin with Arjuna. Seeing those before me causes me to shiver. To lift my bow is as though I had never. Hairs stand on end. Mind is reeling. I'm confused. It's new, this kind of feeling. Sri Krishna, I just cannot fight. There's something here that is not right. Krishna then says, Arjuna, you've lost your sense of duty. A man of defense, renounced a warrior's beauty. For the wise, there's a different point of view of eternity, no birth, no death, known by few. Consider the world, which is full of duality. Good and bad is its only reality. The major point is to not lament. The soul is forever. That is my comment. Moving through bodies, from young to old, from old to young, this circle does unfold. Arjuna then says, Krishna, what is the force that compels one to do wrong? If you could, please include this in your song. Krishna says, it is desire, born of passion, then wrath, that keeps us covered and obscures the path. Perform your yoga and your sacrifice for the Creator, and then all will be nice. Arjuna says, Krishna, yoga can be tried for calming the mind, but the mind is an instrument of a different kind. I'm fine if asked to harness the wind, but the mind cannot be anchored or pinned. Then Krishna says, begin the process. Take it easy and slow. In the end, there's freedom. The soul will then glow. Arjuna says, you are my teacher, mentor, and guide. It was no mistake to have you on my side. I have come to consider about you. There is more. It's your cosmic form that I wish to explore. Krishna then says, the form is manifest when we have the eyes. Otherwise, there's the tendency to despise. I reveal it to those whose devotion is clear when friendship is firm. To them, I am dear. It is surrender through service that is so sweet. It is surrender that is illusion's defeat. Then Arjuna says, O Krishna, my doubt is now gone. I believe the fight should definitely go on. Krishna says, Arjuna, my song is old. but alive. You have your free will, but now let me drive. Hare Krishna. And that's the Bhagavad Gita capitalized in, capsulized in a few words, and also capitalized. So we're thankful to Srila Prabhupada who's given us this great wisdom. I just have to go back, it was almost 50 years now that I first met devotees and got a Bhagavad Gita in my hand. They were big publications. And it came through B.B. Govinda Swami. Remember him? And also Vishwakarma. And I was happy to, I had a $5 bill in my pocket, and it was just the right price in those days for a thick Bhagavad Gita. And I took it with me to my apartment, and I also took them with me. There were 5 of them, and they came to spend the night over because I invited them. I asked them, do you have any place to stay? They said, oh, we stayed at a church basement, but we just don't have that available anymore. So why don't you come to my place? And of course it wasn't my place. I was just renting an apartment. A fairly sizable room, we shared washroom and other guys on that same floor. And my roommate wasn't there, so there was extra space. And so the brahmacharis, they all were at that time, monks, well, celibate monks, they all came in and they laid out all their stuff, their sleeping bags, they had and everything like that, their clothes, and then they looked at a pile of my albums and my friends' albums too, LPs. They were like long playing records, like a CD, but 10 times the size. You've seen it before.
I have some still.
You still have a few?
I still have a few.
Okay, great. Yes, and they flipped through all the stuff. Then they saw John Mayall, he's like a blues singer, and one of the devotees said, oh, you don't need to hear blues anymore. So now we're going to give you Krishna, right? That was very interesting.
Blue.
And then we got to the album All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. And the devotees got all excited. Look at there's George. Look at he's got tilak on. And they all got excited and they all like crammed around the albums. Yeah, that's tilak. He's got tilak on. Of course, if you look at the front album, it didn't look very pronounced because he's wearing a big hat, and it's kind of shaded, But apparently they saw tilak. I didn't know, what are they talking, what is that? Then my friend, he had on the windowsill a marijuana plant. And the devotees started to say, oh, you shouldn't have that marijuana plant. This is my roommates, Said, you should have something called a tulsi plant. Then they looked out the window, and there was all these rocks. This is in northern Ontario, it's Sudbury, right? I said, oh yeah, they drill all this nickel out of the earth, and this is like Hiranyaksha. They're talking about some guy, Hiranyaksha, and he stole gold from the earth, and then he put the earth, Bhumi, off its axis, and then that caused the earth to fall into the causal waters. And they just went on and on with the story like, wow, where are they coming from here? So they made remarks, this is very demonic to drill into the earth and do things like that. And so, it's like, the big demon Hiranyaksha. Okay, all right, so whatever. So anybody, we went to sleep in a room, I think it was about this size really, maybe just a little bigger. Me on the bed, and the bed was left for my, roommate who wasn't there. And everyone else just laid their sleeping bags out on the floor. That was common in the late 60s, early 70s. You just, somebody invites you to the house, you roll out your sleeping bag, and that's your house for who knows how many days. Yeah, and so then everyone got up and they took a shower. and then they chanted Hare Krishna. And one of the devotees there, he had like a shaven head. Everyone had shaven heads. And they had the shika, of course. Shika means you're a follower, right?
Yeah.
You're a follower. You'll allow Krishna to come and yank you out of the ocean of material existence. He'll come on the back of Garuda and swoop down and pull you out by the hair, you know, and take you out of the ocean of material existence, right? So you can take it figuratively, or you can take it that's what it means. The shika means that I depend on Krishna, I'm dependent on him. So my good friend Satyaraj, who's an author of many books, Stephen Rosen, he once wrote, he said, the shika is there to say that I am depending on Krishna for everything. And then he goes on to explain there are some groups of monks that have no shika whatsoever. That symbolizes that they don't really believe in a God, that you don't depend on anything. So this is called the Mayavad trek, you know, the Mayavad approach. So that's what the shika is there for. So I'm glad to see that some of you have them. You have quite a few, and you have one. We have shikas. Okay. So Krishna will then pull us out. That was the idea. So I was hearing all these things. In the morning we had Haribol. Hare Krishna. I was asked to speak. I didn't hear about anyone else being asked to speak at that time. So if you don't mind. Okay. Yeah, so then we had a morning program, and it was like a standard temple program. You know, there was some chanting, the Guru Vastakam, Sasadadava, Nalalita, Tranai Karunya, Ganaganam, Praptasya Kalyana, Gunarnavasya, Vande Guru Shri Charanarabindam. When will everyone please move forward for others? Okay, please move forward. Okay, great. Okay, so these devotees had shaven heads, and it looked a little odd. Yeah, a little more purple, please. You know, to accommodate others. It's good for you, stretching yoga. So in those days, everyone had long hair. That was the fashion. That was the in vogue thing to do. So if anyone had a shaven head, it was just really odd. You didn't see many people with shaven heads. You know, the only person who was kind of cool with a shaven head is Mr. Clean, with a tight white t-shirt on, looking very fluffy, and with a golden earring, and standing like this. Mr. Clean. He was the only cool dude with a shaven head. Anybody else who had a shaven head was a little bit something that the wires were not mixed up right. A little wacko. Yeah. Now it's quite fashionable, you know. Yeah, but so one of the devotees, it was time to chant japa, and the devotees were chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Great. So I'm sorry for another chance. Maybe some sound effects will be necessary. Yeah. So one devotee it was quite thin, and he had the dhoti on and everything like that, and tilak up like this. You know, we used to use fuller's earth, which was quite white. And you kind of look like a skunk, you know. So anyways, and this one devotee had an eye sore, he had a patch on his eye. So he was chanting japa downstairs, and to go to the washroom, my landlord who lived on the main floor, he just came kind of like back from work, you know, and he was the head cook at the president's hotel. And he did some drinking. Anyways, he was going to the washroom and he saw this creature there, shaving it. And he goes, "Ah!" What's this? There was another fun episode about it. There was one devotee, his name was Such a Hit. And devotees were kind of making fun about him because he sat down with one of the tenants of the house, and he was drinking milk, because that's what devotees do. They take hot milk. Prabhupada once said, hot milk is for babies and old men. So he was drinking, but there's a lot of sugar in it, So he had a few of those, and the devotees remember they were joking about him. He's drunk on sugary milk. It was so much fun. So then, the next morning, when the devotees, we had a morning program, and there was one devotee who was giving the class based on the Bhagavatam, and one devotee was sleeping, and this is quite common. It's common enough in monastic circumstances that someone's a little tired from the day before. So this one devotee was sleeping like this, nodding, and that was the first time I ever experienced that. I used to go to church, and sometimes people would fall asleep, especially some of the guys in the back who worked in a factory. It's their time to just relax a little bit, so they were excused. But so I was seeing all these things were going on, and it was very nice. And then a Bhakti Ringa Govindaswami, B.B. Govindaswami, he read to me a story from the Krishna book. It was about how the gopis were attracted by the flute playing of Krishna, And he went through it all. Now, this is where my insomnia started. I didn't sleep a wink that night. That's the only time in my life. And why? Because my mind was stirred. I was wondering for so long, what should I do with my life? What shall I, where will I place myself? How do I fit into society, which in my opinion was going to the dogs, And it was Christmas time, and at that time, all the Christmas carols were going on, and I felt I had a good sense of who was Jesus and what he stood for and everything like that. And I just didn't like the commercialism of it, Bing Crosby singing, I'm dreaming. Now's your chance. I'm dreaming. Oh, before I finish it. Of a white Christmas, just like the ones we used to know. Okay, thanks. Enough. And that really, in one sense, meeting with the devotees at that time when I was kind of disturbed about the whole, I didn't like what they did. They were butchering Christmas with the commercialism. I really hated it. I was not very tolerant of it in my mind, but it was going on. So just having the devotees there, speaking about a different perspective on life was so relieving to me. And so I was lying there, said, maybe I'll be with one of these guys. I'm kind of a radical thinker after all. And they stand for peace and love and simplicity and the philosophy of less is more, all those things, right? So that's why I didn't sleep. So when B.B. Govindaswami was reading to me the story from the Krishna book, I thought, wow, flowers, people dancing, people happy, somebody playing the flute, Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull, if you know what I'm talking about. It all sounded so good, and everything was just kind of hunky-dory in a way. And then the devotees had a big breakfast, and they ate a lot. They had papadums, they had bananas and fruit and some kind of cereal, and the biggest breakfast I'd ever seen. And how are these guys? How can they live on this? And that was the first time anybody told me, you should be, after saying that, John Mayall, you don't need to hear blues music anymore. They said, you don't need to eat meat anymore. And I was so relieved because we were raised on the farm, and we used to eat animals that grew up, that were around us, And so it was nice to hear someone say, you don't have to eat meat. I said, well, yeah, I was thinking, yeah, you guys are from the culture from India, and there's an old tradition of vegetarianism amongst the Indian folks and some Chinese people, so, you know, and they seem to be pretty healthy and strong. The few Indian folks that I met in those days, it was quite rare, but they were very gentle, they were calm, and they did a little bit of this. And I just thought they're very nice people. They're very controlled, and they have nice mannerisms and so on like that. So I liked it, you know. And I remember also in the living room of where the landlord stayed, we watched a movie called 9 Hours to Ram. And it's something that was, it was a Hollywood movie, and it was about the assassination of Gandhi and tracing back the fellow who assassinated him, who was a Hindu zealot of sorts. And it just it just basically detailed everything that led up to the, you know, the gunfire, right? So I thought, oh wow, that's very interesting. And then the Beatles, our heroes, they were also listening to Indian music, and they brought Ravi Shankar's, you know, sitar playing to the world, made it kind of popular. He was just making inroads into the public domain. And so India, the Beatles, Krishna, all this stuff was coming together, and I thought it was maybe Krishna's, or God is trying to tell me something. So anyways, the boys left. They were in Thunder Bay, they were in Winnipeg, and now they were on their way back to their home temple, which was in, does anybody want to compete for this thing? Okay. Home temple in Toronto, which is at 187 Gerrard Street. So after that short visit with them, I spent a few days at my home with my family near Chatham, Ontario. Then on my way back up north to the college, I stopped in at the temple, and it was winter time, and I rang the doorbell, and at that doorbell was somebody by the name of Har Kumar. And he's a little bit, he's a wonderful devotee, he's a little spooky, you know? And he reminded me of Lurch from the Addams Family. When you ring the doorbell, you rang. Okay.
Is that the correct Har Kumar?
That is the Har Kumar.
Oh, that's the one.
The one looks like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's famous.
Yeah, so, you know, he opened the door. Yes. And I said, I met some of the devotees before, a few days ago, and I thought they invited me to the temple. Come in. Okay, so then I took off my shoes, and then he was gone. I thought, this is a real spiritual
Such a
place.
mystical experience.
There was incense bellowing out of the temple room. And, you know, and then I met some of the devotees that came to my place, and they were kind of excited. They said, oh, this is one of the boys that we met on the trip, you know, he is from Northern Ontario. Oh, we also met somebody from Thunder Bay who's become a member. And we also met on that same trip Winnipeg. So the trips that the devotees were making were just drawing a lot of people. Hitesh, they really love you, want you to get closer to God here. So just come on over here. So those were some of the beginnings of Krishna consciousness for me. And I was just, you know, tracing back, thinking back about the Bhagavad Gita and what that all meant to me. And I went through the chapter 1 of the Gita, and there's all these names of people. So, oh my God, you know. I only knew people with names like Dick, Tom, John, Jerry. That was like complicated, 2 syllables. And girls' names like that too. Now they got, you know, even Bhagavad Gita was a little bit much to swallow, really. You know? But so then chapter 1 was setting the scene. Chapter 2 was talking about the soul. Oh yeah. As a Catholic, I heard about the soul, and that it glows and it never dies, you know. It's like better than Christmas, because the Christmas lights go on, and after New Year's they go off. but the soul is a light that never goes out, right? So it was nice to hear about those details of the Atma in chapter 2 of the Gita. So I remember, just even the smell of the book, it had incense in it because the devotees not only published books, but they also manufactured incense sticks called spiritual sky. And so when you went to a temple, it was all smelling like agarbatti, like incense, right? Which was kind of nice, really. And what was really beautiful about the temple in those days, which I think it's been regained because we have this thing called Bhakti Academy with young men and women coming together. They live in their own separate quarters, but they're coming and doing services together. There was a family atmosphere. It was so nice. And this is what I was looking for. I was looking for a place where I could feel I belonged to a family. People coming together from different backgrounds. Many of them were quite artistic and musical and good with their hands, and everything was quite nice. And they rise early, and they sing songs. And where do you go in any community? People get up and they sing and dance. Where are you to find that? Now remember, it was compulsory. You had to take a shower. I stayed overnight, and they weren't so well equipped to deal with newcomers, and guests. So B.B. Govinda Swami, he was in front of me, he said, "Excuse me, but I don't have a towel. I didn't expect to." I thought, usually when you say, and don't worry about it, he says, "Don't worry." So he was thinking about it. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll take a shower first, and then I've got my towel, and then when I'm finished, I'll give you my towel. Okay? So I was drying myself with his wet towel. And then so I got his mercy, I guess you could say. Now, another thing about B.B. Govinda Swami, when he was a kid, he was raised in the Deep South. You know what I mean by the Deep South? Deep South, Mississippi, Alabama, those places, One comedian said we're in the Deep South where people aren't so deep. Anyways, so his father, B.B. Govinda's father, was the manager for Elvis Presley. So then Elvis babysat B.B. Govinda Swami a few times when he was young, And he also took him, they went together to get ice cream. And one time Elvis, he was at a local fair, and he played one of those games where he won a big teddy bear, and he gave it to B.B. Govinda Swami when he was younger, he was a little kid. So he gave that to him. So, because I know this because that's how he introduced himself. My name is Ayodhyapati, and my father was the business manager for Elvis Presley. So, okay. Good. So anyways, those are little tidbits of my early adventures in Krishna consciousness. It was all very nice, and I came again in the spring. Yeah, you know how I got involved in Krishna consciousness? It's synchronized with my walking, okay? I went to see, I used to hitchhike because I didn't have a car and I preferred not to have one. In those days, hitchhiking was more common, it was safer than it is now. There's too many weird people now. In those days, they were also weird, but a little bit more sane, like about 10 degrees better. So it was like a 9-mile drive up to see my cousins. And they're from the Netherlands, and they had settled into Canada, like a lot of people from the land of Holland, settled Netherlands, settling. So I spent some time the afternoon with them. Then it was time to go back home, and I was hitchhiking, and it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. The winter, everything was thawing. It was kind of, how does the song go? Here comes the sun, and the sun did. Oh, darling. How does it go? Just now
you're done. Yeah, I say it's all right.
Yeah, sorry. The snow is slowly melting.
Yeah, that's
Little darling, I feel like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do 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 do. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. Do 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 do. You gotta get that in there. Do 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 do.
after relearn that one more.
Okay, so then no one was stopping, and it was a beautiful sight. I just thought people were so selfish and just caught up in their own lives, and I'm just going to a party on Saturday night and everything. So I said, to hell with you. I just felt like to the world, screw you all. That's what in my mind I was saying, to hell with you. I'm just walking back, I don't need you, okay? So I walked back, and as I was walking back those 9 miles, it's not kilometers, 9 miles, it's a bit of a distance, you know? And I was thinking deeply and deeply. I've been thinking about these devotees for the last 3 months. This is now late March. And, you know, they've been in my head for so long. And I've been reading their literature. One of them even sent me a letter. I asked, you know, send a letter, what is the purpose of Maya? And they came back with a letter, snail mail style.
Maharaj, Prabhupada was there with the devotees, those 5
No,
devotees?
no, he was in Canada at that time. He hadn't come to Canada, or Toronto at least. So then, well, they came back with a letter saying, the purpose of Maya is to protect Krishna from those who are not sincere. To protect Krishna from those who are not sincere. So I got the understanding that you have to be sincere about your spirituality. So that was good. I
That's
like that.
witty.
Isn't that good?
That's
It's brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, so I got to thinking very deeply, and I had, you know, they had also sent me japa beads with a bead bag, and so I made my decision. I'm going to join the temple. I'm going to walk away from my paintings, sculptures, and everything that I've been working on, and I'm just going to be one of those guys. So I told my roommate, he was there at the time, and his friend, said, guess what, Michelle, I am going to join the temple. He goes like this, oh, yeah, well, I'm happy for you. You know, like, and his friend says, what happened to your hand? Because I had my hand in the bead bag. He's like, oh, it's nothing, my meditational beads are here. And so I'm like that. So anyways, I made all the changes that I had to go through. Then I took a train all the way to southern Ontario to tell my friends I'm going to join the spiritual movement. And then that was the shock of the life for my dad. Why? You've got a perfect religion. Why do you want to do something else? Dad, I'm just doing this. I'm just trying it out. Who knows? I might not stick with it. But anyways, once I got in the door of the temple, I never left. In fact, the first day that I spent at the temple, I just felt like I'd been here before. I've been doing this before. Doing what? Doing seva, serving Krishna. And I felt, this is really my home. This is where I belong. And this is where I stay. Hare Krishna. Did I surrender to Krishna? Because that's what he demands in the Bhagavad Gita. No. I'm still on that trail. I'm still on that trek. It's a long road, and it's a bumpy road. But we're going to get there. We're confident. We'll get there. Hare Krishna. Any questions at all? Any reflections?
I have a silly question. So.
Silly?
Yeah. Can you elaborate on that? You said the purpose of Maya is to protect Krishna. Can you elaborate?
From those who are not
sincere. Yeah.
Well, that means Krishna doesn't, your question probably arises from, well, Krishna doesn't need any protection.
And also, Krishna is also source of Maya. He's the source of everything.
Yeah, that's very true. You're getting very deep now. Okay. But basically, what the devotee was trying to say is that you have to show integrity in your service. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to approach everything with a clean heart. You know? And that's who Krishna brings into his world, is the people who have a clean heart. If I was to go and Jai and Vijay are there to the gates, and they said, I'm here to see Krishna or Vishnu, and I said, well, according to the records we have here, you're not quite fit just yet, so there's a few more things you have to do. So the point is that, the phrase or that particular statement was made to help me to understand that I have to be genuine with my devotional service. Yes, Krishna doesn't need protection. He also doesn't need for us to feed him. He's Atmarama, self-satisfied. But I saw you offering food to him, so what's that all about? Right? Krishna doesn't need to be fed. He knows how to get his food. You start early in his age, you just sneak around and you get his makan, right? Which is what this month is all about. He stole makan, and his mother was getting on his case, and so were the neighbors, especially the ladies. And, so Krishna was a little bit of a, like a mild monster in a way to the neighborhood. But it was his way of drawing people in and giving attention to him. Because that is the objective. Man mana baba madbhakto majyati mamana astu man ivaishyasi satyante pratijati priyosime. Okay, I'm glad everybody knows it. Okay, so the purpose is to think of God and meditate on it, offer your namaskars to him, and when you do that, you'll come to him, you'll be with him. And so, sounds like a good program, but what, like millennials will say, sorry to, make jokes about millennials, but they'll say, well, what do I get out of it? What's the other end of the deal here? Well, what Krishna says, etc., he says, I'll take all that's negative from you. I'll just, everything that's a bad nature karma, I'll pull it out. I'll pluck it right out of you. Take it out of your existence once and for all. Number 2, I give you moksha, liberation. No more birth, no more death. Pretty good offer. Canadian Tire doesn't offer such a and then finally he says, Ashacha, no stress. Like the Lion King, Apunya Matata or whatever.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata, don't tell me. There's another one you can. Don't you worry. Okay. But nobody can really say it meaningful like Krishna does, because if he says, I will have no fear, have no stress, he means it, and it happens. But from our end, it's that you have to give yourself to him. And there's no problem with that. Because resisting him hasn't worked out. But or you can say in simple plain language, it ain't working out. I don't know if you ever, does anybody use, I guess in pop music, ain't is a common word. But
Oh no, they still use it in common language.
Ain't a word in the English dictionary. So you ain't supposed to use it, okay? So it ain't working, to resist Krishna, but what does work is submit to him, and everything will be okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for the great question. Any more that we want to do? Anything else? Any other questions, or should we get on with the show? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you for listening, and then we'll go on with the show. And after the prashad, if anybody wants the book, I don't talk about how I first met the devotees. That'll be another book. Well, I do somehow. It is in the beginning. I forget what I wrote.
You'll have to buy the book to find out.
Yes. But we do have a nice foreword by Pradosh, my dear friend. Let's see. Yes, we've got an opening with him, and it's an easy read, and people have said they liked it.
Sorry.
Okay, Jai. It's available. Jai, Hare Krishna. And now, I got the feeling that Uttamananda is, running things around here. No, you aren't? Well, you surely, you told me what to do since I stepped through the door. There's nothing wrong with taking charge. What do you want now?
She's singing in Dhamodra.
One kirtan, and then there will be so while they were setting up for Arati, we'll just sing Hare Krishna Kirtan. And then I think there'll be Dhamodra to come afterwards. Hare Krishna. Krishna Hare
of them are Bengali, so I'm going to speak in Bengali.
Yes, freedom.
এটা আছে কার্তিক মাস, আমরা হচ্ছে এটাকে দামোদর মাসও বলি। এখানে যশোদা দামোদর আছে, আমরা দামোদর আরতি করবো। তো দামোদর আরতি যে ওখানে আমাদের প্রদীপ আছে, প্রদীপে ওখানে লাইন ধরে আসবেন, কারণ যেহেতু জায়গা এখানে ছোট, লাইন ধরে আসবেন, 2-3 জন এখানে প্রণাম করবেন। ওখানে যাওয়ার পর এখানে প্রণাম করলে কি হবে, এখানে যে গ্যামজাম বেশি হবে আর কি। দূরে যা প্রণাম করবেন, এখানে আরতি করবেন। ওখানে আমাদের সুবল বুবু আছে, আপনাদের হাতে জল দেবে, হাতটা ধুয়ে নেবেন পরিষ্কার করার জন্য, আসন করার জন্য। আর আপনাকে প্রদীপ দিবে, প্রদীপটা আরতি করার পর অন্য একটা থালিতে রাখবেন, ঠিক আছে? ওখানে আর একটা থালি আছে। এখানে আরতি করার নিয়ম আছে, পায়ে 4 বার দেখাবেন, তারপর নাভিতে 2 বার, খেসে 3 বার, পুরো শরীরে 7 বার, ঠিক আছে? হরে কৃষ্ণ।
খুব ভালো আছে।
So we have Subal who is going to assist. So he has water, asman water, and also he has lamp. After doing the arti, you can put your lamp.
I'll take it.
Other plates. There's the rules for doing the arti is 4 on the feet, 2 in the navels, 3 in the face, and whole body in 7. And come one by one and do your obeisances when you go back. Don't do your obeisances here.
Then I suggest just do.
মহারাজ বলছেন যে শুধু সাদা করুন পুরো বডিতে, তাহলে সিম্পল আর কি, সিম্পল।
Otherwise it takes too long. We'll be here till.
Okay, she's going to sing.
Okay, Dhamodra start.
Okay, you can come. Okay, we start this side. Let's leave one side.
Ladies first.
Yeah, let's start.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama
What else? चलो वो भी चलो मैं दवा दूँ
जी आ जाओ
आपका यू डन yours is remaining right?
এটা হরে কৃষ্ণ দাও হরে কৃষ্ণ
Give me 5.
হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ
Yeah.
হাই ফাইভ হাই ফাইভ
Love of the day.
হাই ফাইভ দাও
Hare
और एक गाय क्या? Please sing. आदेश कीजिए. I'll teach her Hindi. 5 minutes करते हैं. 5 minutes. What do you think? She's calling 5 minutes. Yes. चलो last kirtan. For the night. Last kirtan. क्या हो गया? समझी?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hey, करता दियो.
Hare Krishna,
Everyone, करता दियो.
Hare Krishna,
माताजी, sing everyone.
Jai Nitya, Hare Guru. Thank you. Thanks so much. प्रभु की जय। हितेश प्रभु की जय। Maybe after a few years.